What's going on, everybody? Y'all know what time it is. This is your weekly tech and AI news with the queen of AI herself joining me, Ash. And clearly my voice is cracking like crazy. I didn't even realize how my voice is going in and out right now until I started this. Anyway, we got some incredible news to talk about this week. As always, we're going to be covering AI. We're going to be covering things happening in the tech industry, things impacting careers, business, the environment, politics, because it is impacting everything in terms of what's going on. So, a couple different things to run down. First and foremost, make sure y'all hit the like button as y'all are joining. As always, y'all know it helps the almighty algorithm, helps us be able to reach more people, to educate more people as to what's happening when it comes to artificial intelligence and the tech industry. For those of y'all who have been trying to get in the tech industry, whether you've done a boot camp already or you went to college to get in tech or you haven't done a boot camp, within our program, we actually have a job placement assistance with recruiters and hiring managers across the top tech companies in the world. I'm talking Microsoft, Google, AWS, Oracle, IBM, and the list goes on, including Salesforce. These companies are mass hiring. Of course, some of these companies are doing layoffs, but they're doing layoffs for roles like mainly software engineering. But roles, we talk about things like tech sales, or we're talking about roles like DevOps or just other roles, project management, so on and so forth. These companies are hiring in droves, and we have recruiters and hiring managers who are assisting our community with job placement assistance. So if you are interested in that, if you're trying to get in the tech industry, and even more specifically at a big tech company, make sure you go down to the description below so that way you can get access to that. Last thing that I have for y'all before we go ahead and get started, we have our tech event coming up next Saturday in Atlanta. It is called the Grown and Techie event. We already are over 200 tickets that have been secured so far. Our event last year that we had, the ticket prices were $200. Currently, right now, ticket prices for this event are just $30. The prices are increasing tomorrow. So make sure you go down to the description below, get your tickets ASAP, get your access to this event. So that way you will be able to network with people you need to network with, be able to meet Ash, meet myself, meet hiring managers, leaders in tech, people that build technology, founders, and then also just be able to network, mix and mingle, party, and be educated by other tech professionals as well. Aside from that, y'all, Ash is working on something really huge, really big. I'm going to allow her to talk about it. But again, all the information is going to be down in the description below. Ash, you please share with them the news of basically like them voting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, I'm in the running for the Entrepreneur of Impact Award 2025. And so the link should be down below for the YouTube guys. I'm also going to include it later on in the chat so we can go ahead and get into it, deliver the value first. However, major opportunities and super, super exciting. This will essentially be able to, we'll get $25,000 and also be able to be on the cover of Forbes. So this is going to take the entire industry and everything that we're doing to the next level. So we really appreciate you guys' support. And without further ado, I'm really excited to get into this news today. I mean, insane things happening right now. Who would have thought technology would be evolving so rapidly, right?
Yo, this is crazy. So look, let us know where you're tuning in from, like where you're currently based at. Also, let us know what's the craziest piece of tech news that you've heard about this week. It's a lot of drama. It's a lot of shifting that's been happening, especially because of the recent new regime within politics within America. That being said, we'll go ahead and jump into it and talk about a piece of news that we have been talking about now for over a year. So TikTok is back, but at what cost? So after being yanked from the App Store and the Google Play Store in the US, TikTok is now fully restored, along with other ByteDance apps. But here's the twist. Trump wants the U.S. to own 50% of TikTok through a joint venture with major tech companies. Now, meanwhile, during this time, rival social networks have been scrambling to capitalize on TikTok's uncertain future by rolling out competing features and apps. So basically, they trying to kick TikTok while they down and try to like spin some things up. So what's next? Is TikTok truly safe? Got to ask that question. Do y'all believe TikTok is truly safe, or is this just the beginning of a bigger power struggle? Also, would you support a U.S.-owned TikTok, or do you feel like this is government overreach? Would you not want to be on TikTok if it's not the version that's owned by ByteDance, or to you, does it not matter? Is it something that you just care about being on TikTok in general, no matter who owns it? Definitely want to know from y'all in terms of what y'all think about this. Ash, what do you think? Like, when do you, I guess, let's say 6 months from now, because I think we're going to still see drama with this for the next few months. Let's say 6 months from now, if you had your crystal ball, What do you think the outcome is going to be 6 months from now when it comes to TikTok?
Wow. Well, honestly, I think the bottom line for the platform itself is going to be ownership. It's a capitalist nation. We know Donald loves doing deals, so he's pushing, for the US to own it. So if they're not able to do so, I think that there may be some sort of hybrid deal going on behind the scenes, as we've already seen. So they're already putting things in place to where if they're not going to own it, then maybe, they may just kind of kick it off the platform overall. But yeah, I mean, it is pretty insane to think that we could live without TikTok. However, I think it makes sense from a capitalist bottom line to keep it around.
I'm curious, like as much as Doge has been exposing a lot of money laundering, basically, and what our government has been doing for God knows how long. As much as they've been exposing that, it's kind of ironic. The same regime that's exposing that also seems to be overreaching when it comes to TikTok, because I'm of the belief that TikTok or ByteDance, I am of the belief that they have been taking our data and that they've been giving our data and giving our information away to people we might not want to have it. Nevertheless, I haven't seen hard evidence of that. So I believe that's the case, but I personally haven't seen hard evidence of that. So because I haven't seen hard evidence of that, it seems as if the leaders in the tech industry, specifically over these social media platforms, it really does seem as if them, Musk, Trump, that truly is just they don't like China being such a big player in the tech scene, especially something as powerful as TikTok and ByteDance. And the irony is that some of the other news we're going to talk about kind of address this as well, because we see right now China is really becoming a force to be reckoned with when it comes to AI, when it comes to the tech industry in general. Ash has been talking about this a lot. I remember even a couple months ago, Ash, I first started hearing you talk about China being a huge player in the tech and AI space. And like in my head, I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, nah, they're no big deal.
Mhm.
But now I'm like, dang, it looks like you were right, because from every different
Mhm.
angle, and we're going to talk about it later with some of the other news we're going to talk about, but it seems like from every angle, they are really truly starting to
Mhm.
compete with the US. And yeah, we were able to shut down TikTok, but all of these other companies and industries from China that are with AI and technology are popping up. And it's like, yeah, we can't shut down all of them, because if we keep attacking all of them, then US citizens are going to start to look at this current regime and say, okay, nah, like y'all could make up some stuff about TikTok, but now you're trying to say every single Chinese company is something we should fear. It's kind of low key given. What was it, y'all? Let me know in the chat. What was it back in the 70s and the 80s, when people were saying, oh, communists? I think it was the whole communist thing. They're like, are you a communist? Where everyone was like, just conspiracy theory, thinking that everyone
Mhm.
was a communist. I don't know. It's given like something is just a little off. I don't really know.
Yeah, a great point. And we all have to stay observant. So you've probably seen how Trump and Elon recently met with the leader of India. So now we know the US is going to be partnering with India instead as a tech hub. So instead of us relying on, China or Europe for that matter, we're going to see a lot of changes, which is why in order to stay ahead, we have to stay observant and see what's going on. So with China, they may be our competitor. However, they are not our enemy. And so they are building technology that's going to help us to be able to usher in more prosperity and abundance. They also have different laws centered around ethics, which the United States could take some notes from. So there's a lot of room for improvement on both sides. And so, I think that the world more than ever should just, come to some sort of conclusion so we can work together, because the other alternative is World War III, right? So we don't need that.
Looking at a comment from Alexander Coy, says, I definitely do not use TikTok. And it's just one of those things I've never gotten into, but I've always found it funny how people you refer to its policies, which are, to my understanding, or reflection of how the policies work in that country. not necessarily that
Mhm.
it's something intentionally malicious. Yeah, I mean,
Great
that's a
point.
good point. It's one of those things where we think things are a certain way, and then when we go to another country, sometimes not even another country, sometimes when you go to another city and or another state and you see people do things differently, in our minds we can translate it to they're doing things wrong. And it's like everything isn't always necessarily like right or wrong or black or white. It's like sometimes things are just different. In the US, we have a bit of an arrogance. We are very arrogant to think the way we do things is the right way all the time, which that's not always the case. And y'all know I'm pro America. I love being American. I love the stuff that we're doing. And I don't say pro American in the sense that like I think everything America does is great, but I'm pro American. That being said, America doesn't do everything right. A lot of other countries, a lot of other nations, they do things differently. And sometimes those things that are different, I do believe, to Ash's point, we should borrow from some of those things to make ourselves better. And so I am curious. We talk about this on and off a little bit. I want to know in the chat, do y'all believe we are going to have another massive war in the future that'll be ran more by like robotics, artificial intelligence? Or do you believe for the most part, any wars that we have will be more like cyber attack wars, or it'll just kind of continue to be what it's been recently? Do you believe we've kind of made it past that traditional type of warfare, or is that something we're still going to be doing? Obviously, traditional warfare is still happening all around the world. There's countries that are in war right now, but by and large, what I'm speaking of are the first world countries. Definitely curious about that. I'm gonna read these last couple of comments, and then we're going to pass it over to the next piece of news that Ash has to share. All right. So someone says the United States can also take some lessons from Europe. When you say that, are you talking about with their technology, or are you talking about with their laws? I highly doubt you're talking about when it comes to their economics, because Europe, especially England, is going through the ringer right now financially. Woo TV says it's like a dude that's pillow talking to a female. They like thinking it's going to change the female's minds. USA tech blocking. That's hilarious. Not cock blocking, tech blocking. That's funny. War is inevitable in all shapes. That's very true. That's very true. All right, Ash, we're gonna go ahead and pass it over to you. I'm curious about the next piece of news.
All right, cool. I want to touch on the words comment says Gundam anime warfare, like basically. So you guys, it's going to be a future where it's going to be AI versus AI. We know that people aren't going to be playing fair anymore. It's going to be, a tech-based war. And so that's why they're trying to push so much to dominate this space. Who has the most powerful AI wins. So does the US have the most powerful AI is the question. We'll move on from that. We'll leave you with that one to think about. However, you guys, everything is changing. You all know this. And so I want to start off with something that's going to be kind of changing the game. We know how everybody's copying everybody in robotics and AI. And so Meta, as they are well known for, is hopping on the wagon and they're building humanoid robots. So we know NVIDIA and we have Tesla and now we have Meta robots. So the application is going to be developing them for performing household chores. So they're trying to take, the Tesla robots job. So this is going to be an incentive from Meta's Reality Labs. They're focusing on creating hardware and software solutions. And so this is going to change the game by revolutionizing domestic life and labor markets. And so before I get into the business value and real life implications, my question to you, Cyrus, and everyone who's watching is, would you buy a Meta robot? Do you think that their robots would be superior to anything else that's in the market right now? What do you think, Cyrus?
So you know what's crazy? You know who else is building humanoid robots right now out of the companies you just listed? Let me know in the chat if any of y'all know this. Apple just announced that they're working on humanoid robots too. So it's like every it's so interesting how all of these companies, we talked about this before, all of these companies used to be entirely different. Meta, Facebook, Instagram was just social media. Tesla, Elon Musk are just cars. Then you look at Apple. Apple is products, iPhone, MacBook. You look at all of these companies. All of these companies are NVIDIA. All of these companies are entirely different. but now all of them are converging towards the same thing. Not only AI, but also humanoid robots. I'm gonna be real when it comes to the question you ask about. I'm definitely gonna have a humanoid robot. The question is who, like, I'm curious, y'all. Let me know in the chat as well. From which company would you want a humanoid robot from? Would you want a Meta humanoid robot? Would you want one from Apple, one from Tesla, or one from what's the other company, Ash?
NVIDIA?
NVIDIA. And I know, and by the way, y'all, it's a lot of companies. There's probably 100 companies right now that are working on it. It's just the news is always highlighting the most popular companies. But in my opinion, I actually would think I would want either a Meta robot or an Apple humanoid robot. And these are my reasons why. Tesla, Elon Musk is really good at creating something really fast. Like he drums something up really quick and it's good for the most part. But it's never the best. He doesn't make things that are necessarily the best. Like they're good, they're quality. I mean, shouts out to what SpaceX is doing. Technically, they're the best in that dynamic. But it seems every other avenue Elon competes in, he generally is not the best at it, but he definitely creates things the fastest. Many times he creates a new lane. But that being said, so I wouldn't want to do a Tesla humanoid robot because I don't think it's ever going to be the best. I wouldn't want to do NVIDIA. The reason why I personally don't know enough about NVIDIA. I know they're a quality company. Jensen Huang is an amazing CEO, very hard worker, but I don't know enough about them. The reason why I would go with Meta or Apple, Meta, because despite how controversial Mark Zuckerberg is, we do have to admit to some degree, he is consistent with having quality. You know, if we're speaking about Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, you know, I use WhatsApp more than I use iMessage. And again, he didn't create WhatsApp, he didn't create Instagram. Nevertheless, it is his teams that are running it. And it's like, for the most part, Meta does create quality things and they develop things. They're making constant updates. And Mark and Zuckerberg is obsessed with whatever lane he's in. He is obsessed with being the top dog in that lane, which a lot of them are, but he does a really good job at it. But I would go Apple because Apple is quality. Now, Apple doesn't create new things. We know this. Like since Steve Jobs has been gone, Apple does not make anything new. They just recreate whatever is out there. Nevertheless, we all know what Apple thrives in is that they thrive in making something that's really quality. So I would go with either Apple. I probably would get a Meta bot because we all know Meta's gonna be cheaper than Apple. Apple gonna jack the price up. Everybody else's bots are gonna cost $20,000. Apple's gonna announce theirs cost $35,000. Mm-hmm. So I would go with Meta if I'm on a budget, but Apple if I'm trying to flex. If I'm like looking at people like, yeah, I got that Apple bot. Y'all, the rest of y'all got the Tesla bot. I got that Apple bot. But want to know from y'all, which one would y'all have? Same question back to you, Ash. Which one would you go with and why? Ash is gonna say, I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna just make my own. That's Ash. That's Ash.
Yeah, Cyrus knows me so well because that's literally what I was gonna say. Exactly. I think this is a time to take some notes. And so not only is there going to be opportunity with these large corporations building, there's going to be opportunity for everybody out there searching for job roles. So people are going to be hiring more than ever for machine learning, robotics engineers, tech sales. So, you know, keep an eye out for all of these opportunities that are coming out because the demand is going to be skyrocketing very, very soon. So I want to build my own robots, though, for, you know, the community. And I would imagine it being like a family affair. So, you know, if I was to do it, then I imagine something where like everybody in the family could perhaps have like their own, you know, personalized bot buddy. But That's for you guys. That's for you guys out here. Somebody who's listening could be building their own robotics company or the products that are going to be integrated into these robotic systems. So, the solution is to find a problem and build the solution. So there's no limitations. But that would be a really cool project. I would want like a robot clone of myself if I could do it.
Ooh. That actually,
Yeah.
you know what's interesting? Now, I don't think we're gonna see this in our lifetime. We might, because technology is advancing fast. I don't think we're gonna see this in our lifetime. But who else has ever like thought to yourself how you wish you had not a twin, but a duplicate? Where your duplicate could go and do things. Like maybe your duplicate could go to work for you one day while you chill or you go out or you go on vacation. I
Mhm.
wonder, I mean, by the time we even get to the point to where we have humanoid robots that are duplicates of ourselves, work probably won't even be a thing anymore. Like it's we're gonna be transcended on some other level.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm interested. So I see Alton says no bot. I want to know, Alton, why would you not want a robot? And also, how do you think you'll be able to compete, whether with work, with productivity in your household, work-life balance? Like, how do you think you'll be able to compete? Or maybe you don't want to compete. Just curious to know like why you wouldn't want a bot. Wu says I'm gonna check Nvidia out, but quality and pricing is a factor. Wu, you mentioning Nvidia, it made me think, because in my mind I was like, why would he choose Nvidia? But as I thought about it, Nvidia, because they are a chip maker, their updates, at least in the short term, until the rest of these companies get good at making their own chips, their updates would probably be like really quality early on. So Wu says, I like that. Ash definitely was thinking that like Urkel had. Oh yeah, when Urkel made the made the robot of himself. I forgot about that. That's funny. Oh man. Ivan says, back to the discussion about ByteDance, parent company to TikTok. I believe that the US and China come to a deal where TikTok remains in the US, but China has to unban Meta, Microsoft, Google, and X in their country. That sounds like a fair deal to me. You know what? I agree with that. That is actually a fair point. And that's the irony, is that we talk often about like we look at the US, we look at our government like, oh, what's y'all's problem with TikTok? But realistically, we don't talk enough about like, yo, China isn't letting our stuff in their country. It's almost like an unfair relationship. And we don't even really talk about that. I do. That's a fair point, Ivan. Fair point. That should be an even trade. It's like, okay, if y'all want us to be comfortable with your social media platform being in our country and affecting our nation for better or worse, why can't you be comfortable with our similar technology being available to your people? And that's
Well,
a fair trade. What do you got to say to that, Ash?
I think that it's just a smart move in the game, right? So everybody in the world is trying to win. And so TikTok, at the bottom line, what we're seeing is the kids are growing up with TikTok. Their attention spans are 2 seconds. They're, being, just a lot of, sexual content. There are a lot of different negatives that are being pushed onto the future generation. And so while China is building up, their future with STEM skills and values, the United States future is kind of disintegrating in a lot of different ways currently. And so, it would make sense that the United States would, come to conclusions to where we can improve social media overall. But I think it makes a lot of sense for TikTok to, intentionally be doing some things to help their, progression and development and growth. Low key.
Yeah, I do think I do agree. I do believe we need to hopefully we reach a point maybe 10, 20 years from now where society removes these barriers, where as a nation we share everything. And honestly, we might not reach that point until we have an existential threat outside of our planet, which y'all could take that however y'all want to take it. I'm not saying what that existential threat would be, but I think that'll be the only thing that'll truly unite us and have everybody share everything. Kind of like, what was that movie, Independence Day? when all of the nations, all of the countries are like, yo, we got to stop all this beef. Like, we have to really come together.
Yeah.
So, now to that point, next piece of news we're going to talk about is, so we talk about robots now, or humanoid robots. Now we need to talk about robotic humans, which is cyborgs. So, in a pioneering $6.5 million NHS trial, researchers are testing a brain-computer interface that uses ultrasound to map and modify brain activity, aiming to treat conditions like depression, anxiety, and epilepsy. Developed by Forest Neurotech, this device is implanted beneath the skull to deliver targeted pulses, potentially rebalancing disrupted neural patterns. While offering a less invasive alternative to traditional methods, the trial also raises significant ethical questions about data privacy and the potential for neural discrimination. So look, y'all, we know about Neuralink and we know about what Neuralink is doing and aiming to do. But there's a new company, not a new company, but there's a company now that's using devices that'll actually regulate our moods. So the goal is that they will eliminate depression, eliminate anxiety, eliminate any of those negative feelings that we get from time to time. And again, this is where we take steps towards being more cyborgs. So want to know from y'all, like, what do you think? Like, is like I was really rattled on this. Like, part of me was like as humans, part of the human experience is suffering. Part of the human experience is sadness from time to time. Part of it is, excuse me, I got a call. Part of it is all of like those feelings. It's the challenges we go through. Like, do y'all believe like we need those things, or would you prefer to have something where it can eliminate any negative emotions, negative feelings? Obviously, there are people that deal with depression. They're depressed, they're anxious, sometimes they don't need to be. But is this technology y'all believe is good, or is this something where it really would take us away from being humans? Like, where it's like we're always regulated mood-wise, where we're always in a good mood or just at least in a chill mood. And so that's one point. The other point, I saw a post that went viral recently, and I wanted to send this to you, Ash. I don't know if I did or didn't. There was a guy who he explained how we are all already cyborgs. And he said, oh, we're already cyborgs. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? And in the video, the way he described it is, he says a cyborg essentially is a human that relies on technology to live. And then he broke it down. He says, we rely on technology to survive. He was like, think about your phone and social media. Think about the technology you have in your house. He's like, if you pull someone away from their phone and they're like, oh my God, like, where's my phone? Like, they start freaking out. Whereas 30, 40 years ago, no one had a cell phone to freak out and be like, where's my cell phone? It's like, if you didn't have your phone, you didn't care. You're like, oh, that was how everyone moved around their life. It's like, okay, you go to a payphone. But now we feel like we need a phone. Same thing. If you're trying to get a job today, you need LinkedIn. You need technology to live and survive. So question is, one, how do y'all feel about technology regulating our emotions to where we no longer are feeling any of those bad emotions or bad feelings? And two, do y'all agree with the statement? Like, are we already cyborgs? Let's see what y'all talking about. Alexander says, absolutely not. What are you speaking about exactly, Alexander? Need you to break it down a little bit. Emmanuel says, we don't need them. Maybe a nano pill or some sort of regulatory med tech to help alleviate depression. Well, that already exists. That's just modern medicine. So we already have modern medicine that helps regulate emotions. Like, we don't need a tech version of that. So the question is, do we? And really, the other part is it really a difference from taking like medicine? Yes, technically it's a difference, but is it, if we feel like we don't want to allow technology to regulate our emotions, is that hypocritical or biased if we accept medicine to help us regulate our emotions? Especially since medicine does affect us in other ways, most of the times. Ash, what have you known about this topic? Because you tend to know about a lot of these things before I find out or before I report on it. So one, what are your thoughts on the whole thing about us being cyborgs already? And if you had to choose, let's say one or the other. Would you prefer medicine to help regulate our emotions or regulate any negative feelings we have, anxiety, depression, or would you prefer more technology instead?
All right, well, to answer the question, number one, what do I think about humanoid robots, a bionic future? I love it. I think it's super exciting. However, of course, there should be limitations. I think it's super exciting that science is taking notes from Nikola Tesla, saying that the secrets of the universe are based on, as you guys know, energy, frequency, and vibration. And so the fact that they're, leveraging that with brain-computer interfaces is very, very interesting. However, when it comes to medicinal solutions, and so for curing depression, anxiety, etc., I think that that's where they're starting. However, it does open us up for future mind control in many different ways. So it can affect your mood to be happy when you're sad, or if they can affect your mood to be motivated when you're not, what else can they affect your mood to do? It's pretty much limitless. Science has been proven with technology, mental manipulation is possible. So brain computer interfaces, how far away are we from brain control interfaces is the question. Let me know in the comments.
I wonder at what point are we not even humans anymore? Because like, let's think about it. A person who's obsessed with social media, they are typically a very weird type of person. Like, y'all know the person who, like, think about influencers. A lot of social media influencers, and I mean, I'm an influencer, Ashley's an influencer, but nevertheless, like, y'all know there are certain influencers. People tell me this all the time. When people meet me at events or they meet me in person and they hang around me, they like, oh, bro, like, you're like normal, like, you're cool, you're chill, like, and I'm like, yeah, but I get it. We all meet someone who's popular. Some people less popular than me, some people a lot more popular than me. You meet them, and it's like they're not really a human. It's like they're a version of a human, but social media and just TV and their brain has been so warped by it to where they're like an NPC almost. It's like their human interactions are so strange. And those people seem so cool online, but in person, they're really weird. I'm not even talking about the people that are rude, because that's a whole nother thing. That's like a Hollywood thing where they think they're above you. But just people that are not normal in person, it's like, yo, you're really like socially strange and kind of crazy or off because social media has fried your brain. I wonder if we use technology, and I'm not entirely against it, but if we use technology to regulate our emotions, it's like, okay, these are the pros and cons I see. I see on one end, I'm gonna tell you the benefit I see, besides the obvious. Technically, we could use technology to eliminate racism. Like, technically speaking, if we could literally have it to where it eliminates biases that we have amongst people. We remove sexism, racism. We could remove a lot of those isms to where we could still see each other, but a lot of the issues that we have could be eliminated via technology. And again, we could remove negative emotions. But the way I think about it is almost like someone who's on Ozempic who never works out. They never work out and they never eat protein, where they lose weight technically, but they're not building muscle. Likewise, part of the way that God designed us is that to some degree, we sometimes need a little anxiety. We sometimes need a little depression. We sometimes need a little bit of these things. Now, too much of it is detrimental, but a little bit of it, it challenges us to push past it, and it develops us. It makes us stronger. It makes us better. It makes us more adaptable. It makes us better parents in helping our children navigate certain challenges. So the same way a person on Ozempic who doesn't work out and doesn't eat, eat proper caloric intake or protein, the same way that person looks skinny but weird and flabby at the same time, I wonder how that technology could make us not be human and kind of affect us in a very strange way. So again, I see pros and cons to both. And again, my brain is kind of going all over the place as we talk about this. Alexander says, "Oh, y'all are, all right. Oh, y'all are going in. Y'all are going in." So Emmanuel says, so to comic book it, the character Cyborg or the character from Iron Man. Oh, that's actually a really good analogy. Yeah, Iron Man being the him putting on the suit and using it, but he can get out of it and like live his life, but Cyborg can't get out of his suit. It's literally a part of him. He literally what was it, the mother box, or I think the mother box or something, like it's fused in him. That's actually an interesting analogy. Woo TV says balance is needed because the more you can't cope with pain or emotion over a long period of time, that stress can transmute into trauma in the genes and thought of suicide. So you're right, because I think about like the Matrix, and I feel like we talk about the Matrix a lot at this point. But y'all know in the Matrix, let me know in the chat for any of y'all that like actually follow the story of the Matrix, because it could be entertaining. The fighting and stuff could like distract us from the story. But the thing with the Matrix world, the architect, who was the dude with the white hair, he said the earlier versions of the Matrix were a utopia where it was perfect. But he said that humans, even though we were like basically, they were using us and we were kind of knocked out, humans, our brains rejected the Matrix because it was perfect. And what the machines realize is that we can't give them a world that's perfect. We have to give them a world that seems perfect, but it has a lot of flaws, because it's like our brains need some version of drama and conflict from time to time. It's like we need that almost because we've adapted to be used to that. And so with perfection, it just doesn't, it's like a person who's super rich and doesn't have any problems and everything's great. And it's like sometimes if they're not having any challenges they have to overcome, they start to create mental challenges and they start to get depressed and they even want to commit suicide because they don't know, like, they're not able to deal with a lot of challenges. I'm loving the dialogue. I'm loving the comments y'all are giving. Anyway, I'm gonna go through the rest of these comments and then we're gonna let Ash go ahead and take it over. So the word says he went on a killing spree. No, it wasn't him. It was a malfunctioning of the chip implant. Well, who are you talking about exactly? Do you know who he's talking about, Ash?
Yeah, like that's what they'll say in the future when they brainwash people.
Oh, people in the hood be like, hey, free my brother Day Day. Man, he wasn't doing nothing. It was that chip that they put in his head. Nah, just Alexander says, and in terms of technology and being a cyborg, humans have been using technology since the dawn of time. Yeah, technology basically originated from fire, sticks, and bones. As time passed, we tend to rely more and more on things that we create. So yeah, so that is true. Technology is just a term that, yeah, they had technology 2,000 years ago. So I guess we have to separate, like we have to like use technology differently. But for the most part, we all understand like what we mean when we say technology. But you are completely right, Alexander. You're completely right. Rashawn says rejecting tech for mental health, but accepting meds is hypocritical. Both alter brain chemistry to help us function better. If we use meds to fix imbalances, that's a fair point. I believe that's a fair point. Wu says, I think social media was meant to make people antisocial. Nobody cares about real life anymore. They built another one on a digital platform. Their username is their social. Emmanuel's Cyborg. All right, Wu TV says, a world with challenges. Facts. Yeah, we need challenges. All right, Ash, I want to pass over to you and get like your final thoughts on this before you take it over with the next topic.
Yeah, I love this. And final fact is that everything is changing and that humans themselves are evolving. And so we need to evolve not only our physical bodies, but also our minds to be able to keep up what's going on. So there are ways that we can enhance that with AI technology, with brain computer interfaces. However, the bottom line is going to be, ownership over all of these technologies, because if you're not using your own, then you're going to be using somebody else's brain computer interface that could be a brain control interface. So without further ado, let's get into some crazy AI technology. All right. We're going to be talking about one of the most common semiconductor competitors, BYD. You probably heard of them. They are introducing an affordable self-driving car, God's Eye technology, they call it. And so, as you guys may already be familiar with, BYD is a Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer. And so they recently really revealed this God's Eye tech. And so this is going to be technology that's integrated with DeepSeek AI. It's going to be available across all vehicle lineups, and it's going to include different models that are going to be priced as low as $7,000. Insane, right? And so this is going to democratize access to advanced driving features, but also position BYD as a formidable competitor in the automotive industry. So we see compute power really, coming to the stage. And so, I've said it once before and I'll say it again. Realistically, we see, who's ahead. We see who's developing the more advanced technology, and perhaps it's not quite the United States at this point. So I'm interested to see what you guys think. Obviously, everyone's kind of trying to develop their own God's Eye technology. However, BYD, the Chinese electric manufacturer, is trying to compete with not only OpenAI, not only, Tesla, robotics, etc., but, they're taking control here. What do you think, Cyrus? Is it a positive that they're, coming to this point of autonomous technology? Or do you think that it's kind of going to cause some conflict?
I think this is, I believe every generation in history has probably thought this about their time for the most part. But this is truly probably the most revolutionary time in history. Like, it's so pivotal is really what I should say. Not even revolutionary. I feel like that's cheap, but just really like pivotal. Because the Industrial Revolution back in the 1920s, 1910s to really the 1930s, that was pivotal, arguably the most pivotal time in history up until now. Because our future with robots, AI, and other technology, we have to understand there's technology that's going to come through this stuff that our minds can't even comprehend. Like, we're talking about AI and robots. There's going to be technology that AI and robots are going to help us create that our minds can't conceive right now. And so, for instance, back in the early 1900s, poop was such a problem that it was predicted that, and I think it was 1910. 1910 was around the time poop, and when I say, I literally mean poop, like horse poop or horse manure, was such a problem. They predicted that in 10 years, all of the streets were going to be covered in 3 feet of poop, and there was going to be no way to get around it. Y'all know, like in the UK and even in America early on, everyone was on a horse. Horses were everything. Horses were, if you were working, you were on a horse. If you were a business owner, you were using a horse. If you were a person that had money, if you were a middle class person, you had a horse. Horses were more common than cars are right now. And like literally where I'm at right now, I'm in Cartagena, Colombia. They have horses that go around out here, and the horses poop, but it's only like 4 or 5 horses. But still, most days I still see poop from the horses. So they were trying to figure out, they were constantly having meetings with, like, governments were having meetings saying, what are we going to do about this poop problem? Because you have to understand, like, it's kind of like, it sounds silly to us, but manure, when you have a lot of manure, it attracts diseases, it attracts flies, it attracts, like, people were getting sick. Like, it was becoming a really bad, a real health scare. So everyone was trying to think of what could we do? What could we do? What could we do? Y'all know what the solution ended up being? The car. So the car eliminated the whole argument about horse manure and horse poops. And they kept trying to come up with invention after invention to fix it. Cars came about, and the purpose of a car wasn't to eliminate horse poop. It was just another way for us to be able to travel and get about. And it ended up eliminating another problem or issue. So likewise with this technology, there are things it's going to eliminate that we don't even realize it's going to be able to eliminate. And it's going to create other technology that right now our brains can't conceive it. Like you can't, 100 years ago, you couldn't explain to someone what AI is. Like you couldn't explain that 100 years ago. Probably even 50, 60 years ago, you couldn't explain it to anyone. And so imagine there's going to be technology 20, 30 years from now that if someone came back from the future and tried to explain it to us, we wouldn't even, like, they would be using words that we're like, what does that word even mean? And so it's just such a crazy time that we're in. So I love it. I love it. I love what this company is doing. I love the competition amongst the nations right now. It is insane. It is insane.
It sure is. And it'll help drive the prices lower for everybody. So AI is as you guys know, it's a depreciating asset. So a lot of opportunity, but the cost is going to be lower than ever.
Oh man, the trucking industry is a basically $500 billion industry. In the US, 2.2 trillion globally. The impact is far reaching. That's very true.
Yes.
Humanity and relationships are suffering and communication is being ruined. I wonder if, I know people that have a theory that they believe that all of this technology is actually going to bring us back to real relationships. Because once you have a humanoid robot that's cleaning your house, cooking your food, you have robots that are delivering all of your grocery items. Essentially, you have robots and technology that's handling everything, especially when we reach the point to where traditional jobs and careers as we know it will be gone, which, for those of y'all that, and it's not any of y'all that are here because y'all are here right now, but for people that aren't paying attention to what's happening, it's going to hurt them. For people that are paying attention to what's happening, people like y'all that are tuning in here where you're taking advantage of the knowledge, the information to be proactive, so it'll be a benefit for you. Nevertheless, it's going to give us so much time back as people that I do believe that we're going to get back to, I mean, think about it. Look at run clubs. Look at all of these different groups and clubs and societies that are popping up. There are so many Discord communities and so many, even in Atlanta, like y'all know, we have our own community of 6,000 professionals, techies. Again, we have our tech event coming up next Saturday, and our community is very active. And it's like, why are these run clubs and these groups and these communities becoming so popular? It is because technology has driven us so far away from each other that the pendulum is swinging to where we are intentionally doing things to engage with each other. So I don't believe, yes, technology is pushing us away from each other, but it's like anything else. We need each other. Like, it's in us. So because of that, by default, we're gonna want to be around humans. We're gonna want to, like I usually work all day. And I usually, unless I'm taking my laptop and I'm working from somewhere, and I usually do that if I'm making content. I'm like, oh, but technically speaking, I usually just stay in the house. I always go out at night because I want to be around humans. I want to be around people because it's like we need that. So yes, I love your comment, but I do believe things are gonna come back around full circle. That being said, want to do a quick shout out for those of y'all that are unaware. Again, we do have our tech event next week. Grown and Techie. Make sure y'all get y'all's tickets while the prices are discounted. Prices are about to increase tomorrow. So right now they're just $30. Again, the event last year, tickets were $200. Our first tech event tickets sold out, and we literally had to increase capacity at the place where basically we had to pay for like extra space because we technically ran out of tickets, or we oversold tickets. We were going to give people some of their tickets back or their money back, but we instead decided to invest into more space. So make sure y'all get y'all tickets for this, for the event that's coming up. Also, again, for those of y'all that are interested in getting in the tech industry, I know a lot of y'all know about tech boot camps already. We have something that is significantly better, where we have job placement assistance, where we're able to pair you with a recruiter and hiring manager from two major tech companies of your choice. A recruiter and hiring manager where they're going to assist you with job placement assistance at their company. Now, this is for people who have education, maybe experience, maybe not. Maybe as long as you have education from a quality tech boot camp, or you went to college for tech, or you've worked in corporate, and we can find your transferable skills as to what relates to the tech industry. We can help you out. Y'all go down to the description down below, click the link. It says tech quiz. You could take the quiz, but really you could just use that link just to go to the site in general. And then if you want to just go ahead, we have a tab where you can go to our job board and you can literally choose the tech company that you're interested in working at and or the role that you're looking to do with that company. And again, these are real companies that are hiring right now. And we have the salaries on there. All of them on average are paying between about $120,000 to $200,000. Some a lot more than that. A couple, the lowest that we have is about $90,000. And again, we got recruiters and hiring managers at all of these companies. So this isn't you going on LinkedIn and applying and hoping to hear back. This is literally you going in, choosing the company. We have recruiters and hiring managers that are going to assist you with job placement assistance. And so the way the process goes, once you choose the company, we get you set up. You have a self-paced training with modules that'll take you 1 or 2 days to go through. It's meant to make sure all of your stuff is clean top to bottom. It's modules that make sure your LinkedIn is fully optimized, your resume, your cover letter, your interviewing skills, everything you need. Anything you can imagine, anything you could possibly think of. If you're transitioning from being a teacher to tech, if you're transitioning from being a lawyer to tech, from a nurse to tech, we have modules and trainings that break down everything you need to do. So that way, once we set you up, literally within the month, once you're set up with the recruiter and then the hiring manager, you'll be good to go, top to bottoms. So again, click the link down there so that way you can get access to it. And to be very clear, we are paying the recruiters and hiring managers to assist with this. They're not required by their company to do this. They are doing this on their own time. So this is not something they're doing on company hours. So, but nevertheless, something to mention. Also, make sure y'all tap in with Ash. Y'all need to go ahead and vote for her. Go ahead, click the link down below. Ash, can you tell them a little bit about, because I know it's new people that have popped in. You tell them what they're voting for and why they should be voting for you.
Yeah, you guys. So in the running for the Entrepreneur of Impact 2025, you guys may know Draymond Johnson. He's the one who's sponsoring it. He's one of the sharks from Shark Tank, also the founder of FUBU. So he is going to be the one who's going to be also an opportunity to directly mentor anybody who wins the award, but also an opportunity to be able to scale with a $25,000 investment, and also the opportunity to be on the cover of Forbes. So this could be game-changing, an opportunity for our mission to build a better world. So would love your help and support, you guys. So if you guys aren't already aware, my name is Ash. I'm the CEO and founder of Better Boost, and we specialize in building wearable technology that is engineered to empower you. So think productivity enhancing smart glasses that are most comparable to Meta's Orion glasses, or smart ring technology that's medical grade. So these are going to be options that are affordable and not going to be, the exorbitant expensive prices that are currently on the market. And so our mission and goal is to be the wearable technology, the Amazon of wearable technology, right? So help us to, make this a reality and our vision to build a better world. Really appreciate you. Tap into the link and vote. Thank you.
Definitely. And also, y'all, Ash is one of the speakers that are going to be at the event next week. So make sure you come out. So that way, not only you can go from just seeing her virtually, but you can actually meet her in person. You can pick her brain. Stuff in here is breaking, clearly. Anyway, sidebar. That's actually hilarious. All right, y'all. So look, we're gonna go ahead and cover the last pieces of tech news. We just want to hit y'all with that again. Y'all make sure y'all smash the like button for us. Y'all know what it does with the algorithm. So make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button for us. We deeply appreciate it. So China's bold move, launching rockets to rival Starlink. We talked about it. We keep talking about it. China is not playing around. China, like, y'all are not gonna count us out. So China has embarked on an ambitious journey to challenge Elon Musk's Starlink by launching the 1,000 Sails constellation, a massive network of low Earth orbit satellites aimed at providing global internet coverage. The initial batch of 18 satellites was successfully developed from a Taiwan satellite launch center, marking a significant step in China's quest to establish its own satellite internet mega constellation. This initiative underscores China's determination to reduce reliance on foreign technology and assert its presence in the burgeoning space-based internet sector. However, this rapid expansion hasn't been without issues. A recent launch resulted in the disintegration of a Long March 6-8 rocket, creating over 300 pieces of space debris. Y'all know space debris is becoming a huge problem right now. So the incident has raised concerns about space safety and the long-term implications of such debris on other satellites and space missions, because their debris can hurt our satellites and it can cause a lot of issues overall. So as China accelerates its own space endeavors, questions arise. Is this a strategic move to dominate global communications, or could it trigger a new kind of space race fraught with competition and potential hazards? How should the international community respond to ensure space remains a safe and collaborative frontier? So China ain't playing. China's like, look, we're not gonna be relying on y'all. We're not gonna let y'all count us out. And this is actually pretty interesting. And I got so many thoughts on it, but I'm curious really from y'all, like, how do y'all feel about this? Because we talk about it being good, the competition is good, but at some point is competition really just threatening us or something that could harm us? Because you have so many satellites in space or orbiting right above our planet, and then they're crashing or just creating space debris, or some of them are breaking down. It's like at some point, it's like, what are the risks and the implications involved with this? So what are y'all talking about? Comments? What is this? Jesus Princess Shayla says, you keep saying experience, but everything I saw asked for an investment. If this is a paid service, you need to be honest and say, yeah, of course. Okay, let me be very clear. For anyone in terms of the job placement assistance, Tech is New Black is not a charity. We have to pay recruiters and hiring managers for their time and their assistance for them to coach you, like for them to literally coach you, give you basically the cheat sheet as to how to actually get the job at their company. They give you the referral from both the recruiter and the hiring manager that are a part of the hiring process. And then they interview you within the company and they vote for you to get the job behind the scenes at their company. We're paying them a lot of money to do this. On top of that, we have another hiring manager. So technically, you meet with 3 people. We have another hiring manager who does a vetting interview with you. And they make sure everything you need is perfect top to bottom. They verify after you do the modules that your LinkedIn, your resume, your cover letter, your interviewing, everything top to bottom is perfect. And so these are 5 people that we're paying, because again, we connect you with 2 different tech companies, a recruiter and hiring manager from, let's say, AWS, a recruiter and hiring manager from, let's say, Google. It's based on which company you choose. We connect you with those 4 people, and we connect you with the original hiring manager who does a vetting interview with you, and they verify the companies you want to work at, and then they make sure you're good to go before you get passed over to the other recruiters and hiring managers. So yes, unless y'all think we're paying thousands of dollars per person, like we're gonna pay like $2,000-$3,000 to help you and help this person, help that person. The money got to come from somewhere. I paid $4,000 to do a tech boot camp. This service, this service is under $4K. I did a boot camp. I didn't have anybody help me get in tech. I didn't have recruiters, hiring managers. I didn't have any of these resources. So this costs money. I'm going to be very real with you. And I say this lovingly and respectfully. If you are a person where you're looking for a free handout to get a 6-figure career, that might be out there. I'm not going to say it doesn't exist. Pray for it, wait for it, go after it. I'm not going to blame anybody who wants to do that. But if you've been putting out 500, 600, 1,000 applications, you've been going through the ringer, you've done a boot camp, or you went to college, or you have some type of knowledge or anything like that, then yes, they recruit from Canada. So it's for the US and Canada. If you're going through all of that, like we have to keep in mind, y'all, people pay $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 to go to college to get no career at what they went to college for. People pay $10,000, $15,000 to do a tech boot camp. They get resources. A lot of people get jobs, but not everyone. A lot of people don't even get interviews. This is literally cutting you through all of the noise and the BS. So this isn't you going to college and nobody's helping you get a job. This isn't even you doing a boot camp and you get some help with your resume or cover letter, but you're not even getting interviews. This is you guaranteed getting job placement assistance by recruiters and hiring managers at the biggest tech companies in the world. So and again, there's payment plan options. It's nothing with your credit. Like, we're not having nobody put your credit down or nothing like that. Cause it's one of those things where it's like, if for whatever reason, if you decide you don't want to do it anymore, I personally don't care. Like, if someone changes their mind, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, you just don't get the assistance. That's totally fine. But we have payment plans. We got options. We got all of that stuff for you. But I want to be very clear. As a Christian, as a believer, I believe in reaping and sowing. I believe in you sowing into something so you can reap a return. I personally don't believe in the principle of just wanting like handouts in that sense. And so this is something better than I ever had when I was coming to getting tech. Honestly, I don't know anyone who's ever had an opportunity like this before. That being said, it's not for everybody. Again, everyone doesn't need to get in the tech industry. If this isn't for you, if again, it's not for you, totally fine. So I'm not pitching this as something that you need. I'm pitching this as something where it's like, yo, if you're really trying to get in tech and you're like, yo, can somebody help me get a job? Which is what people say a lot. Yes, we have 4 recruiters and hiring managers. Well, technically 5 recruiters and hiring managers that are helping you to get a job. We're paying them thousands of dollars per person. It's literally us collaborating together to help you get an amazing career. So yeah, I thought the companies were paying you for recruiting help. No, so okay, that makes sense. No, so we're not getting paid by the companies to recruit people. So some, like, I get that notion. Some people get like paid like a staffing company or a staffing agency. But guess what? Microsoft, Google, AWS, they don't work with staffing agencies because they don't need them.
Yeah.
So again, so if somebody wants to go to a staffing agency, they exist, but it's going to be rare. You're not going to find a staffing agency for Google or a staffing agency for AWS or Microsoft. These companies on average pay $200,000, $300,000 and a lot above that as well. So yeah, I went to college is a problem. I don't see any payment plan options. Yeah, so it's so this is the way it's set up. There's payment plan options. I'm sorry, let me get off this topic. If you're interested, whoever's interested. Now look, if you're not sure about it, don't do it. 100%. 100%. If you're not sure about it, please don't do it. The reason why I don't want you to do it is because our team has a limited amount of slots of people that we can talk to and people that we can help. Also, the recruiters and hiring managers, initially we were only offering this for students of our boot camp. But these companies are hiring so much, the recruiters and hiring managers told us to give them more people. They were like, yo, can y'all send us more people? Now, again, more qualified people. I want to be very clear. And so that being said, if you're not sure, if you're not interested, again, the program is $39.95. We have payment options all the way out to, I think, 6 months of payments. All the way out to 6 months of payments. And I want to be very clear. That means month 6, if you do 6 months, if you do like a payment plan and it's 6 months, month 6, you're in your interviews. So this isn't like a boot camp where you do it and then you're like, okay, how long do you think it's going to take me until until I'm getting the job placement assistance? So technically speaking, not even technically, literally this is what happens. We have a lot of people. It's usually nurses, people that are realtors, people who have a little bit of money, where they just go ahead and pay the full amount up front. They are in their interviews within 2 to 3 weeks. So this isn't something where it's like theoretical, because again, we're paying these people. So the job placement assistance is guaranteed. But yeah, we don't have payment plan options on the site. We plan on adding that, but it's a lot of things we're adding to the site. But again, The price point is $39.95. There are payment plan options. Talk to the team. Again, if you're not sure, if you're hesitant, if you're skeptical, please don't do it, because I've helped thousands of people get into tech without this. This is literally a layup. So if you're skeptical at this point, please don't hit the team up. God bless you. God, like, don't, if you're going to look a gifted horse in the mouth, God bless you. Seriously. And I mean that with sincerity. Yeah, I would love it if the company, if the companies were paying us, we would do this for free. Totally. But the Tech is New Black team is a large staff. A lot of y'all don't know that. It's a lot of people behind the scenes. Y'all see my face a lot, for better or for worse. But we have a team. We got the recruiters. It's a lot of people. So anyway, that being said, we got a topic. All right, so Ash, I'm gonna let you wrap up with the last piece of news. While we got off topic. Again, for those of y'all that weren't here for that, my apologies. But I mean, I'm sure y'all are all fine with that. It's just explaining what it is.
Yeah, honestly, a great point. You guys, there is no better opportunity or higher ROI, $39.95, and then having an ROI of over 200 to 300K. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I haven't seen anything else out there like this for anybody to be able to get into tech and also essentially guarantee that you're able to transition directly. So definitely take advantage of this amazing opportunity, you guys. So without further ado,
I apologize. I actually have to drop right now. An emergency came up. It's not a bad emergency, but it's an emergency that just came up. And so I have to drop out. I'm sorry to do this so abruptly. But look, y'all, Ash is going to go over the last piece of news. Make sure if y'all have not voted for her, that y'all vote for her. We talk about supporting each other. This is a huge opportunity for Ash, and Ash is the type of person that as she elevates, she gives back to the community. Her elevation is an elevation opportunity for all of us. So make sure y'all tap in. Also, make sure y'all come out to the event next week. I'm going to allow Ash to wrap up with the last piece of tech news. Love y'all so much. Thank y'all for being here. Aside from that, y'all, yeah, Mr. CMB says already voted. Exactly. So y'all follow in Mr. CMB's footsteps. All right, Ash, I'm going to let you go ahead and take it over.
All right. Appreciate you, Cyrus. All right, you guys. Hey, well, this is going to be absolutely insane. We're getting into the next AI topic. I want to position you guys for ultimate success and solutions. So we're not just going to waste our time, okay? So before we get into that, I want to make sure I'm highlighting a few of these comments. You guys have really, really been engaging, and I love that. So let's go ahead and get into this. So I think Rashawn says it best. Competition can cause harm because it will no longer be about innovation, but ego. And so you mentioned earlier that the tech CEOs and Trump want the US to dominate in tech, so it can cause retaliation. Absolutely. And so I couldn't have said it better myself. This is absolutely insane, to where we're going to have no choice but to work together. So there's not going to be any competition. Competition is inevitable between the US, India, China, Europe. However, we're going to need to come together to, develop solutions for our nation if we all want to be able to have that future where we're going to be prosperous and abundant, instead of that dystopian situation. So thank you so much for that. Well said. So, all right, you guys, excellent points here. All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hi, Kay. Thank you for being here, you guys. Good to see you, and welcome in on this Saturday. All right. Perfect. I love to hear that you are ready, Princess Shayla. Love that. Okay, you guys. So here's the tea. I hope you're ready. So the AI Action Summit has been really a recent event that has transpired, okay? And so the US and the UK have declined inclusive AI declaration. And so what does this mean? All right, so at the AI Action Summit, this was in Paris, 61 countries came together, including France, China, and India. Essentially, they came together to sign a declaration promoting inclusive and sustainable AI. However, the United States and the UK refused to sign it. And so this does signal divergence in international AI policy approaches. So my question to you guys, we see how Trump is taking us out of many different global organizations, the World Health Organization, et cetera. Do you think that it's going to be, a significant negative that we're taking our, the US away from these? groupings, or do you think that it's going to be something that's going to be a positive for us? So Trump, for example, says that taking the United States away from the World Health Organization, that it wasn't best for our capital bottom line, since we were paying, apparently too much, that he wasn't satisfied with. However, this is going to change the game. So as far as the implications from a business side, we're looking at understanding the differences in international AI policies. And so this is going to help us to be able to align your business and the brands that you're building to be able to navigate compliance and strategic planning. So now that we know that the US and the UK is not aligning with the global stage, we're all going to have to prepare ourselves. And so on the market, we're looking at how different companies can tailor AI solutions, that's you guys, to align with regional regulations and potentially gain a competitive advantage. Okay, we're not here to take L's. We're here to take those W's, all right? And so on the global stage, there are real life implications, including a lack of autonomous agreement or unanimous agreement. And so this is going to lead to fragmented AI standards. Who wants that? We all want to be on the same page, right? But this could affect global interconnection, and so this is going to change the game. We're also looking into ethical AI development. And so if we have diverging policies, how is this going to impact ethical development and deployment of AI technologies worldwide? So do we really want, large corporations and monopolies to have control over AI and how we use it? What do you guys think? Comment below, let me know. And so if we're getting into a few different questions for you guys, so we want to start thinking of the potential consequences of the US and the UK not endorsing inclusive AI. We're looking into AI ethics and inclusion. If that's not going to be on the stage, what type of world does that create? And so essentially, when it also comes down to AI research and development, the US doesn't want limits. We know how Trump is taking us out of various agreements to where we're going to be able to really enhance AI innovation. And so we're going to see changes happening all over the world. However, we want to make sure that it aligns with ethics, right? So let me know what you guys think down below. Don't be shy, tap in. So let's go ahead and get into the next phase of news. And this is where we're going to conclude, unless there are any other, conversations that you guys want to bring about. So DeepSeek is actually hiring talent from Microsoft's controversial AI research lab in China. So we see that DeepSeek, obviously you guys already know, a rising Chinese chatbot startup, they've hired multiple former AI research Asia employees. And so this is going to be a move that essentially is going to create political pressure on Microsoft's AI labs in China. And so there are concerns about IP development, theft, talent poaching, etc. So everyone around the world wants the best of the best talent. However, we're looking at several concerns when it comes down to US tech competitiveness. So when it comes to talent acquisition, everything is changing. You guys are going to need to learn the key core skills. We're talking machine learning, data analytics, also getting into robotics automation, et cetera, et cetera. And so with the evolution of the development of advanced AI technologies and solutions, we don't want to limit resources. However, we want to make sure that we're also maximizing our ROI. So with that, we have some great comments here. Mr. CMB says, it seems the general population wants to work together between these countries, but companies and corporations want to stay, secluded and divisive. Absolutely, which is very, very unfortunate, however, understandable. And so we're more capitalist now than ever. So everyone's bottom line is going to be cash. That's why we're seeing a lot of people losing their jobs, because it's going to be replaced by AI and AI automation. So what everybody here needs to do is to educate themselves and be able to pivot. And so in many different ways, we see how the industry is changing. However, you are truly able to thrive in this industry, in this world, if you take the advantage of opportunities and gain the core skills and foundational skills that you need to thrive. And so that comes down to, data analytics or machine learning, et cetera, things that we've spoken about. So Rashawn says it best. It says corporate colonialism isn't just about stealing land anymore. Now they're stealing minds, data, and the future itself. Wow, you're killing it, Rashawn. I couldn't have said it better myself. Absolutely. And that's super, super important. And so now we're seeing how the laws are being taken away. And so we're seeing those changes in how, if people do speak up, perhaps, there's nothing much that people can do. And so what is the solution? I want everybody to listen up, because I've thought long and hard on what the solution is for people and what we can do, where we can go. So what you guys can do, number one, this is step one, you want to pick a problem. There's so many different problems in the world, limitless problems. And step two, then you want to, of course, gain the education. And then step three, that last step, you want to build the solution, and then you want to automate. All right. So without that process, then we're going to see, a lack of efficiency, a lack of growth, but we can build a better world together if we come together and, build solutions. And so don't be shy about taking advantage of opportunities to learn. We have the boot camp available. We also have the opportunity where you guys are able to get the top jobs. We're talking Google, Microsoft, and have an exclusive recommendation and referral. So if you guys are already in tech, you already know how important that is. And so you're not getting the job essentially without a referral. And so the fact that Tech is the New Black is doing this and taking that step is insane. So if you guys, are looking to get into your bag immediately, if you already have that skill set, without further ado, you need to tap into that link, because it's crazy opportunity that's going to really help everyone here. So Rashawn says they've got their greasy hands on AI, rewriting the rules so they only get to play God. Same old story, power hoards, people lose, Johnny Silverhand. Exactly. And so when it comes to the capitalist nation and monopolies that are controlling our world and government, and inevitably the decisions that are going to be affecting the world long term, who wants to live in a dystopian world? I don't think that, that's going to be ideal for anybody. And so what it's going to take is everybody to stand up, to educate themselves on AI and tech, and so I will also say that it is possible for you to be able to do what you love. A lot of people, they have a kind of idea of where it has to be a doom and gloom scenario where, there's a lack of hope in the world and for the future. However, I always try to be positive. And so there is so much opportunity to where it's limitless. And so do not let what's going on in the world cloud your mind to the opportunities and to the positive that you could really provide to the world. And so take advantage of what we're doing here with our platforms. Tech is the New Black, as you guys already know, game-changing opportunities. So you want to make sure that you're picking the different industries with the boot camps. I also want to leave you guys off with a note on where you guys are interested perhaps in pivoting into. A lot of people that are already here, you guys are already transitioning into tech and you guys already know your path. However, if you still are interested in defining your path, if you don't know exactly where to go, if you're kind of interested in tech and seeing exactly how it can be a personalized path for you, then my consultation link is going to be down below, and I would say tap in directly with me. So beyond being a startup founder with wearable technology, I'm also an AI solutions specialist. So AI solutions specialist. So solutions is what I do best. And so essentially one of those is working with different clients and also professionals to build AI automation systems for on the business side, but for professionals also being able to provide consultation and career path plans that are going to be personalized for every individual. And so we're going to take what we call the KSAOs, your knowledge, skills, abilities, what you do best and what you want to do, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction. So this is going to save months of uncertainty. And so we're going to be able to help you guys maximize your success and optimize your bottom line so you can be in your bag. So well said, you guys. Thank you so much for your comments and conversation today. And while we're here, if anybody have any questions, go ahead and tap it into the link down below. I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that we're covering, all of the latest and greatest news here. So you guys already know about a few of these topics. OpenAI is expanding into AGI research. So we're looking into self-improving AI models. You guys already know how AI can replicate itself now. And so everybody needs to prepare themselves for automation at scale. If you don't know how you can automate your different workflows or maximize your bottom line, tap the link down below. We'll be happy to help you with that for your business. Or as a professional, if you want personalized solutions to be able to transition, we can help you as well. So what we're going to be seeing is a huge economic shift. And so we're talking AGI, artificial general intelligence, and then evolving into artificial super intelligence. So who controls AI controls the world. So we see the chaos that's ensuing. However, do not, become downtrodden by everything that's going on in the world. Instead, we can always, remain positive and continue to build solutions and build a better world. And so if there are no other questions, then I'm going to cover a few of the last topics, and then I will let everybody go to enjoy their Saturday. I want to thank everybody for being here. And I also want to thank everybody for voting for me for the Entrepreneur of Impact Award. The mission of building a better world has been in my soul for so long. And so now with high tech solutions, we're talking smart glasses and smart rings. This is really going to change the game. And so where Meta or other companies have their products, for example, smart glasses that are $25,000 or smart rings that are $400 to $500, we're providing affordable solutions. And these are going to be high-tech solutions that are going to be the best quality around. So without further ado, let's get into those last couple subjects. We're going to start off with quantum computing breakthroughs. IBM has a new 2000 qubit chip. This is a massive leap in quantum computing power. And so this is going to accelerate AI, cryptography, and also being able to solve complex problems in the fields of drug discovery and also financial modeling. So it speaks for itself. Crazy power, crazy times. Also, AI is creating fully synthetic human-like speech without a real speaker. We're just kind of reading through this. This is revolutionizing content creation. We see how it's realer than ever. And so with deep fakes and misinformation, we're going to need to have conversations on regulations and ethics. So you guys, if nobody wants to talk about regulations and ethics, you guys can be the person to bring it up because it's going to be more important now than ever. So do not let these companies or large corporations, manipulate your mind to thinking that you can't do anything, because you can. And there are many opportunities out there that you could take advantage of. All right, last but not least, we're getting into the final ones here. Tesla's fully self-driving V14 has launched with a neural network overhaul. So this is going to be fully end-to-end neural network, which is absolutely insane. So we're talking hand-coded driving logic. We see how different companies are competing: NVIDIA, Tesla, Meta. So we're going to have robots, we're going to have autonomous vehicles. And so the technology is going to continue to really expand and grow. And so this is going to help us to be able to reshape over $3 trillion industry. So you guys, we also want to keep in mind what industries are growing, evolving, and so we can adapt as well. So you see that there's a lot of opportunity in robotics. We can pivot there with different roles. And we also see fintech. Finance is going to be a huge opportunity as well. So I believe there's a few. Okay, we're closing off with Microsoft. So Microsoft and OpenAI have deployed AI-powered autonomous offices. They say they want people in the office working. And so this is going to be, or actually this is going to be more so AI agents. Interesting. So AI agent offices that are going to be able to manage emails, scheduling, HR tasks, and even corporate decision making without human input. Interesting. So this is going to be able to improve corporate efficiency and cut operational costs by 30%. By eliminating repetitive manual tasks. Also, we're looking at 24/7 business operations. Corporations are not playing games. Everybody is up for the head chop, you know what I'm saying? And so, nobody is essentially safe or secure unless you're getting into highly evolved industries and places in tech. So once you have a foundational skill set, then you'll be able to easily pivot into anything. As we all know, everything is changing. So we want to make sure that you're prepared for the ultimate success. So Emmanuel, let's see, says there's so many options to generate passive income while AI is still fresh. Well said, Emmanuel. Absolutely, y'all. While it's still fresh out here, while everybody's still trying to figure out what to do with the technology, you guys take it and run. Learn how to leverage these tools to automate them so that you guys can be sitting on a beach in Bora Bora while your company is, generating revenue for you. So Emmanuel says, I voted for you, Ash. I'm going to do it daily. Want to see you win. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that's here. Thank you to everybody that has voted. And so that basically summarizes the AI-driven future. And so without further ado, you guys, if you want to connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. I believe there should be a link down below. So I'd love to connect long term to discuss the future and building a better world. Other than that, again, I want to thank everyone for being here. If there's any last minute questions, feel free to drop it down below. Otherwise, we can continue the conversation. But thank you to everyone. And without further ado, let's continue to learn about tech and AI and have confidence in our skills that we can truly build a better, brighter future, because that's possible. It's within reach, you guys. It's within reach. So sending love to everybody that's here. Thank you so much for voting. I appreciate your support. And let's continue to build a better future and world. All right, you guys, I'm going to end it here. Have a great Saturday.